and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we will see how to get live tracking of employees' location with the help of the live tracking block available in Clappia. This can be used for site or customer visits, logistics tracking, and much more. Let's see how to capture real-time tracking and visualization of a user's location by creating an app for client visit by an employee. Once I log into my Clappia workplace, I will click on New App in my dashboard. In the Design app, you can create your app structure. First, I will give a name to the app, say Client Visit. Then I will click on Add Section and I will give a name to this section on the right-hand panel under Section Name, say Live Tracking. You can name it as per your requirement. Now click on Save. I will then click on Add Field and use the various pre-coded blocks for capturing the required information. Now, if I want to capture employee name and email ID, I can simply use the single line text block, which is useful for capturing short text. But since I want the system to automatically capture them, I will use the calculations and logic block. I will configure this block on the right-hand panel. First, I will change the label into employee name. Under formula, I will type in @submitter name. This will help the system to capture the name automatically in the app. Now I click on Save. Similarly, I will capture the employee email. And under formula, I will type in @submitter email. For capturing customer name and email, I will use the single line text block. I will change the label to customer name. Now I'll add another field for customer email. If you'd like to capture their phone number, you can use the phone number block available and you can set the default country code. For capturing the date of visitation for the customer, I can use the date selector block. I will change the label to date of visit. Under the advanced option, I will enable default to current date since I want the system to automatically capture this as well. And I will disable the remaining options since I do not want the employee to make any changes. Now if I want to capture the visitation details, I can also use the multi-line text block, which is useful for capturing long information. I will change the label to visit details. If I'd like the employee to capture whether the type of visit is to an individual or if it's a business meeting, then I can use the single selector block. I will change the label to type and then give the options over here as individual and business, keeping in mind that they are mentioned one after the other with no spaces after each word. So this is just some basic details for an employee to capture. Now I will add the live tracking feature in this section itself. Now I'll click on Add Field and then click on Live Tracking. This feature is useful for getting tracking details in map view. You can see the route taken by an employee. You can also get information on the time in which they start and end their trip, their start and end location, as well as overall distance covered. This block can be configured on the right-hand panel over here. There are two options for configuring, basic and advanced. The first thing I will do is to change the label into employee live tracking. You can also give a description to the field. This is to allow a user to know what to input or maybe some helpful information. For now, I'll just leave it blank for this field. You can also mark this field as required. So when an employee is filling in the details of this app and you want them to necessarily start the live tracking, you can keep this option as enabled. When I click on Save, you can see now that this field is denoted with a red star mark, which means that they cannot make a submission without starting the live tracking. We also have an advanced option that says display this field if. Here you can give conditions to the field for being displayed in the app. For example, if the type of visit is individual, the live tracking is not required in the app. But if the type of visit is a business meeting, then you would like to track the live location of your employee. For this type of display condition in your apps, over here you can give in such conditions. If you have worked with spreadsheets earlier, you would have come across implementing various types of calculations and logic. The same can be implemented in Clappia as well. We share a similar library, but in the place of cell numbers, we have the concept of variable names, which you can find at the top of every field in brackets. So for the display condition over here, I will just call out the variable by typing in @type equals to business. You can see the variable type corresponds to the field over here, and only if type is selected as business will the live tracking field appear in the app. So now I can click on Save. As I had mentioned earlier, you can also see the start and end time of the trip as well as the start and end location of the employee. and the overall distance covered. To do this, I will first add another section just to keep those details separate. But if you require, you can always keep it in the same section. I will just name the second section over here on the right panel under section name as tracking details. Save this. Now in this section, I'll click on add field and then click on calculations and logic. On the right hand panel, I will change the label to start location. Again, under formula, you will be able to call out the variable names. So I will type in @ employee live tracking. And here you can see there are already a list of preset variables. So for the start location, I can select the variable for start location and then click on save. Similarly, I can have for end location. So I'll click on add field and then add another calculations and logic block. Here I will just change the label to end location. And under the formula option, I will type in employee live location and select the employee end location variable. Click on save. Now I will also add fields for the start and end time. I am using the same calculations and logic block for the start and end time and using the preset variables. You can also get the overall distance covered by clicking on employee distance. Now that I have added all the necessary fields, let's see how the app works. So I'll go to app home where the app is live and ready to use. You can see the live tracking field is not visible yet in this app. That is because we have configured it to be that if the type is selected as individual, then it doesn't appear. But if the type is a business visit, then only will the live tracking option appear in the app. So when I click on business, you can see the employee live tracking field has now appeared. You can also see the tracking details section is added to the app. If you would like this to be hidden as well, you can implement certain conditions for it. Now, as it is mentioned over here, live tracking is supported only on the Android app. So let's see how that works. Here you can see the mobile screen with the Clappia app downloaded on it. You can download the Clappia app either on Play Store or App Store, and the moment you create your app, it will be ready to use on the mobile version as well. So I'll go ahead and click on the Clappia app and then click on Client Visit app. The app is live and ready to use. Now over here again I will have to select either individual or business. So when I select business, the live tracking option appears. If I were to make a submission without starting the live tracking, you can see an error message has appeared. That is because we had marked this field as required. So now I can go ahead and fill in the details of this app and start the live tracking. When I click on live tracking, I get this pop-up which means that even after I start live tracking and the app is closed, it gets captured in the background. It is also important to note that this feature works in offline mode as well. So when you make a submission and later get back the internet connection, it'll automatically get updated. Now click on OK. To view all the submissions in the mobile app, you can click on View Submissions. Click on the submission to view all the details submitted by the employee. You can stop live tracking by clicking this button. You can also view any ongoing live tracking submissions by clicking on the three dots at the bottom of the window. Then click on live tracking and you can stop tracking here as well by clicking on this button here. Now as soon as a submission is made in the mobile app, you can view that submission in the web version by clicking on Submissions tab. Click on a submission and a right-hand panel will appear capturing all details made by the employee. You can see the map view of the journey of the employee and expand the map. You can see the journey has just started. This also shows you distance covered currently and last sync time of the live location. You can open the tracking details section and view the current information. Since the trip hasn't ended, some fields are blank. Now if I refresh the submission, it should show me the updated location on the map. You can see the distance covered is more now. Now I'll go back to the mobile app submission to end the trip. If I view my submission, you can see the route taken on the map and the tracking information calculated automatically. If I refresh the web app here, you can view the same information. You can see the route taken and start and end point of the journey. In this way, you can enable live tracking of employees in your app. If you have any queries regarding the configuration of the live tracking block or any features in Clappia, you can always request support or email us directly to support@clappia.com and we will be happy to assist you. Thank you.